Hare Krishna. So this morning we from the srimadbhagavatam. We're in the 4th canto, 9th chapter, verse 16. It's Dhruva Maharaj going home, right? It's the chapter he's going home. He's really going to go home. Another chapter or two. He's go all the way back home, back to Yadid. So text 16. See what we got in here? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiriyat. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So text 16. Yasmin viruddha gatayo yani sampatanti.
Yasmin viruddha gatayo yani sampatanti.
Vidyadayo viveda shaktaya anupurvyat.
Vidyadayo viveda shaktaya anupurvyat.
Tad Brahma Vishwan Bhavamekam Anantamadhyam.
Tad Brahma Vishwa Bhavam Ekam Anantamadhyam.
Anandamatram Avikaramaham Prabhadye.
Anandamatram Avikaramaham Prabhadye.
Yasmin Viruddha Gatayo Yani Sampatanti.
Yasmin Viruddha Gatayo Yani Sampatanti.
Vidyadayo Vivida Shaktaya Anupurvyat.
Vidyadayo Vivida Shaktaya Anupurvyat.
Tad Brahma Vishwan Bhavamekam Anantamadhyam.
Tad Brahma Vishwa Bhavam Ekam Ananta Adyam.
Anandamatram Avikaramaham Prabhadye.
Anandamatram Avikaramaham Prabhadye.
Yasmin viruddha gatayo yani sampatanti.
Yasmin viruddha gatayo yani sampatanti.
Vidyadayo vivida shaktaya anupurvyat.
Vidyadayo Vivida Shaktaya Anupurvyat.
Brahma Vishwa Bhavam Ekam Anantam Adyam.
Tad Brahma Vishwam Bhavamekam Anantamadhyam.
Anandamatam avikaramaham prapadye.
Anandamatram Avikaramaham Prabhadye. Yasmin viruddha gatayo yani sampatanti. Vidyadayo vivida shaktaya anupurvyat. Tad Brahma Vishwa Bhavam Ekam Anantamadyam.
Anandamatram Avikaramaham Prabhadye. Yasmin Viruddha Gatayo Yani Sampatanti. Vidyadayo Vivida Shaktaya Anupurvyat. Tad Brahma Vishwam Bhavamekam Anantamadhyam.
Anandamatram Avikaramaham Prabhadye.
Yasmin Viruddha Gatayo Yani Sampatanti. Vidyadayo Vivida Shaktaya Anupurvyat. Tad Brahma Vishwam Bhavamekam Anantamadhyam. Anandamatram Avikaramaham Prabhadye.
Yasmin viruddha gatayo yani sampaptanti.
Yasmin viruddha gatayo yani sampadanti.
Vidyadayo vividashaktaya anupurvyat.
Vidyadayo vividashaktaya anupurvyat.
Tad brahma vishva bhavam ekam ananta adyam.
Tad brahma vishvam bhavamayikam anantamadhyam.
Ananda matram avikaramaham prapadye.
Ananda matram vikaramaham parvadye. Save the best for last. Yes, in viruddha gatayo yani sampadanti. Vidyadayo vivida shaktaya anupurvyat. Tad brahma vishvam bhavam ekam anantamadhyam. Ananda matram avikaramaham prapadye. Synonyms. Yasmin, in whom viruddha gatayaha, of opposite character, he, certainly, anisham, always, patanti, are manifest, vidya adayaha, knowledge and ignorance, etc. Vivida, various, excuse me, shaktayaha, energies, anupurvyat, continually, tat, that, Brahma, Brahman, Vishwabhavam, the cause of material creation, ekam, one, anantam, unlimited, adyam, original, anandamatram, simply blissful. That'd be a nice name to get. Hey, Anandamatram Prabhu. What's your name mean? Simply blissful. That's good. Vikaram, changeless. Aham, I. Prapadye, offer my obeisances. Translation and purport. Srila Prabhupada. My dear Lord, in your impersonal manifestation of Brahman, there are always two opposing elements, knowledge and ignorance. Your multi-energies are continually manifest, but the impersonal Brahman, which is undivided, original, changeless, unlimited, and blissful, is the cause of the material manifestation. Because you are the same impersonal Brahman, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Please repeat. My dear Lord, in your impersonal manifestation of Brahman, there are always two opposing elements. Knowledge and ignorance. Your multi-energies are continually manifest. But the impersonal Brahman, which is undivided, original, changeless, unlimited, and blissful, is the cause of the material manifestation. Because you are the same impersonal Brahman, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the unlimited impersonal Brahman is the effulgence of the transcendental body of Govinda. In that unlimited, effulgent aura of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there are innumerable universes with innumerable planets of different categories. Although the Supreme Person is the original cause of all causes, his impersonal effulgence, known as Brahman, is the immediate cause of the material manifestation. Dhruva Maharaj therefore offered his respectful obeisances unto the impersonal feature of the Lord. One who realizes this impersonal feature can enjoy the unchangeable Brahmananda, described here as spiritual bliss. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes that this impersonal feature or Brahman manifestation of the Supreme Lord is meant for persons who are essentially very advanced, but still not able to understand the personal features or variegatedness of the spiritual world. Such devotees are known as Jnana Mishra Bhaktas, or devotees whose devotional service is mixed with empiric knowledge. Because the impersonal Brahman realization is a partial understanding of the absolute truth, Dhruva Maharaj offers his respectful obeisances. It is said that this impersonal Brahman is a distant realization of the absolute truth. Although apparently Brahman seems to be devoid of energy, factually it has different energies working under the headings of knowledge and ignorance. On account of these different energies, there is continually a manifestation of vidya and avidya. Vidya and avidya are nicely described in Ishopanishad. It is said there that sometimes due to avidya or a poor fund of knowledge, one accepts the absolute truth as ultimately impersonal, but in fact the impersonal and personal realizations develop in proportion to the development of devotional service. The more we develop our devotional service, the more closely we approach the absolute truth, which, in the beginning, when we realize the absolute truth from a distant place, is manifest as impersonal. People in general, who are under the influence of avidya shakti or maya, have neither knowledge nor devotion. But when a person who is a little advanced and is therefore called a jnani advances even more, he is in the category of a jnana mishra bhakta, or a devotee whose love is mixed with empiric knowledge. When he is still further advanced, he can realize that the absolute truth is a person with multi-energies. An advanced devotee can understand the Lord and his creative energy. As soon as one accepts the creative energy of the absolute truth, the 6 opulences of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are also understood. Devotees who are still further advanced in full knowledge can understand the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. Only on that platform can one fully enjoy transcendental bliss. An example is given in this connection by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur of a person proceeding towards a destination. As he approaches, he sees the destination from a distant place, such as we see a city from a distant place. At that time, he simply understands that the city is situated at a distance. When, however, he comes still nearer, he sees the domes and flags. But as soon as he enters the city, he sees various paths, gardens, lakes, and marketplaces with shops and persons buying. He sees varieties of cinema houses, and he sees dancing and jubilation. When a person actually enters the city and personally sees the activities of the city, he becomes satisfied. Om Agyan Jimirandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksulun Minitam Dena Taismai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Panchaka Patru Bhashta Kripa Sindhu Vevacham Patidanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. So with your permission, I'll try to say a few things with your blessings. Damodar, do I have your blessings? You're the temple commander. Do you hope I give a good class? Is that your hope? Thank you for that strong encouragement. Okay, that's what I like to hear. So Prabhupada in the beginning of the purport is referring to this verse in the Brahma Samhita, this Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jangadanda Koti Kotishvajeshu Vasudari Vibhuti Binam Tad Brahma Nishkalam Anantamasesha Bhutam Govindamari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose effulgence is the source of the non-differentiated Brahman, mentioned in the Upanishads, being differentiated from the infinity of glories of the mundane universe, appears as the indivisible, infinite, limitless truth. So in here, it's a very short purport, but in here, this Jagaranda Koti, that within that effulgence, as Prabhupada is saying here, within that effulgence of the Lord, his bodily aura, unlimited universes are there, both spiritual and material. Koti Kotishu means millions and millions. Ashesha means unlimited. So you jump from millions and millions to unlimited. In other words, there's no counting all the different worlds that are manifest within that Brahman, the effulgence of the Lord. And that's just Krishna's glow of his body, his effulgence. And this Vasudhari Adi with planets and other manifestations, Vibhuti with opulences, Binam, that means becoming variegated. So all the variegated manifestations of the material and spiritual world are resting in that Brahman. Such a powerful energy. And that's Krishna's effulgence. And all that is going on. So you can see this is why Dhruva Maharaj is offering respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord, who's non-different from all of his energies, so he's non-different. This is his bodily effulgence, so he's offering respects. Just how powerful Krishna is, and how amazing this Brahman effulgence is. All the different energies are there within it. It is the ultimate Krishna is the supreme, was that Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigra, Anadir Adir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. He's ultimately the cause of all causes. He pushes everything into motion by his, what is that? Satya Sankalpa. What does that mean? That's a name for Krishna, Satya Sankalpa. Yeah, you're really close. Satya Sankalpa. Whatever he wants becomes true. Wouldn't that be amazing if that could happen to you? You're the temple commander. If you had that potency, whatever you wanted, breakfast on time, the temple's clean, the Sankirtan goes out, books go up, doubled up. Satya Sankalpa. So Krishna is Satya Sankalpa, right? So he just desires, and all these energies are just fulfilling his desires, like that. It's how powerful. So, Prabhupada talks here about this Brahmananda. So last week I gave class, we touched on this a little bit, about the happiness of Brahmananda. And there's a section, I just heard your spiritual master speaking on it, on Advaita Acharya's appearance day. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in that chapter, there's all these verses about Brahman and the happiness of devotional service, comparing it to Brahman realization, and how that it's just a particle of a drop, hoofprint of a calf, cannot be compared. The happiness of devotional service, even though this Brahmananda is quite ecstatic, it has can't even compare to the happiness of devotional service. But it's there. It's there. That spiritual bliss is there. So, Srila Vishnudas Chakravarti Thakur describes the impersonal feature of Brahman manifestation of the Supreme Lord is meant for persons who are very, very advanced, because most people aren't that advanced to think that there's a happiness beyond the enjoyment of the material world. That's just part of being here. It's the dumbing down of the jiva. The material nature is very, very powerful. What's that verse in Bhagavad Gita? Daiveshu gunamai mamamaya duratyaya. It's insurmountable. You can't get beyond it. You can't pass it. Just like if you put Damodar and Santosh in a boxing ring or wrestling ring together. Damodar just couldn't get around Santosh. There's no getting around him, right? He'd just come over and go, poof, like that. It's insurmountable. So that comparison it doesn't even compare. Krishna's material nature is insurmountable for the jiva. It's insurmountable. It's impossible. It's impossible. But Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, if one who surrenders to me, they can easily cross beyond it, because it's Krishna's energy. It says, what is that? Chayeva yasya bhuvananvi bharta durga. That means it's moving just like the shadow. Does your shadow ever go in an opposite direction? You ever seen that? It's in cartoons that does that, but I mean, it never goes in an opposite direction. It just follows automatically, exactly in harmony with the movement of the object. The shadow moves. So Maya is moving in exact harmony with Krishna's desires. Like that. So for Krishna to say, oh, let this soul go, there's no problem. No problem whatsoever. But for the jiva to say, let me go, well, Maya says, yeah, come on. Prove it. Come on. And, especially if you're not taking shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why would she let you go? Just like they have these, when you're in prison, I'm not speaking from experience, but when you're in prison they have the parole board, right? You know what the parole board is? Hope you never have to see one. But you go in there, you've been in prison for some time, they have a parole board. And they examine your character. They say, should we let this person out? Is he still going to be a menace to society, or is he paid his dues and learned his lesson, right? And they pass or not pass. Oh, nope, you're back in jail, or we think you're okay. We'll let you out, like that, parole board. Like that. But if they have any doubt that you're still a menace to society, you still have a criminal mentality, or they still need the money from the federal government, which seems to be a big problem these days. You know that? The prison system, most of it is private. It's a private institution, and they get a lot of money from the government, and therefore they don't allow a lot of people out because they're making good money. Isn't that amazing? That's a big problem. They're not run by the government. They're actually private institutions. And if you see these exposés on it, they actually keep the prisoners in there because they're getting money. Just like schools. If your schools actually get some money from the state and federal government as long as the student's in class. That's why they don't want you to have too many absences. They don't get any money. It's a money-making thing. So these prisons are actually big money-making things, and they actually keep prisoners in there. Yeah. So just keep them there. 40 cents a day. So it's interesting. So good luck getting out. That's the point. Good luck getting out. But if the governor happens to be your brother-in-law or something like that, or a friend, or somehow if someone can convince them, then you get the amnesty and you're let out. It's like that. They'll let you out. So the point being here that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti says that one who's very advanced is he, what is that verse? Out of many thousands among men. Manushanam sastreshu, right? Out of thousands and thousands, hardly even one endeavors for self-realization. That's what's referred to here. One even thinks it's something to do. And even those, most people, they think yoga and self-realization or spirituality is something of this material world. It's a feel-good kind of a thing. Well, he's a very spiritual person. He feels good. He's kind of like, he feels good. Like that. He's a spiritual person. As far as getting out of the material world and becoming callous to the material existence, you can't relate to that. So it's a very, very rare person, a very, very advanced person who even endeavors for realizing a spiritual nature. That's referred to as Brahman here. And first he refers as Jnana Mishra Bhaktas, even devotees. It's a devotional path, but it's mixed with some impersonalism. It's not pure. In fact, it's described, I think it's in the prayers of Lord Kapila Dev, at least, maybe other places too, that one can't make an advancement in any path, whether it's karma, jnana, or yoga, unless there's a little bit of bhakti in there. Because Krishna has to give to get the fruits. Yeah, Krishna's one giving the fruits. There's got to be some little something there. It's mixed, but Krishna's in the heart, and he's the one, mayaiva hitan hitan. He's the one giving the results to everything. That's Krishna. He's in the heart. Like that. So it says impersonal Brahman is a distant realization of the absolute truth. It's not very, very close. It's a distant realization. It's the first one. Brahmeti paramatmi bhagavaniti shabdate. It's realized in three phases: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Now Prabhupada is also referring here to this Ishopanishad, this vidya and avidya. Remember those verses? Were you doing Ishopanishad before Nectar of Instruction in the evening? Okay. So, let's see here. Well, there's a few verses. This is 10 is here. Let's see if 9 is. Okay, yeah, we'll start with 10. 10 and 11. Anyad evahur vidyaya nyad ahur avidyaya. Iti shushama dhiranam yenas tad vichachakshire. The wise have explained that one result is derived from the culture of knowledge and a different result is obtained from the culture of nescience. So Prabhupada is referring to here in the purport that these are the two energies. In the verse also, right? In the verse it said that knowledge and ignorance are there, those energies. In other words, the material and spiritual energies are there within the Brahman in the different manifestations. And the Jiva, who is Tatashta Sakti, which means marginal, go one way or the other, like that. So, but it's not all the same. By cultivating, by so-called mundane knowledge and by cultivating spiritual knowledge, there's two different results. Those energies are there. One becomes affected. And as we have text 11 here. Mantra 11. Vidyam cha vidyam cha yas tadvedo bhayam saha avidyaya mrityum tirtva vidyaya amritam ashnute. Only one who can learn the process of nescience and that of transcendental knowledge side by side can transcend the influence of repeated birth and death and enjoy the full blessings of immortality. So, in other words, this material nature, we have to understand it as Krishna's energy. That's a real understanding of the material world. As soon as we connect the material energy to Krishna, we rise above the influence of the material energy. Isn't that amazing? Just that one thing. Bewilderment comes when we disconnect things from Krishna. Whatever we see separate from Krishna, then there's bewilderment. Immediately under the influence of Maya. And as soon as everything's connected to Krishna, then everything's quite nice, peaceful, proper. Think about it. Anything. Even you sit down at prasadam. Right? Simple thing like that. I mean, just try it all day long. Just try to, wherever you are, what they say, what is that book? Be Here Now. Remember him? Be Here Now. So just be here now. Mindfulness, that's what they call it now. And just connect whatever you're doing with Krishna. Because it doesn't come, it's not a given that at every single moment we're Krishna conscious. At least I know about myself. It's not a given. It's not a given. The theoretical knowledge is there. Even sometimes we slide away from the theoretical platform. The best we get theoretical. But to make a conscious point of connecting everything with Krishna, then you see how nice it all becomes. So that's the point. This material nature and everything here is all Krishna's energy, and seeing how it properly connects with Krishna, which means, what's the proper connection with Krishna? Engage in his service. It's his, right? If something belongs to someone else, it's for their pleasure, isn't it? I mean, how about your things? You don't have too much, do you? But the few things you have, they're yours for you to use, right? If I just go and take them, like that, I just take them and say, hey, this looks nice, hey, thank you. What are you going to think? It's like, that's not nice, that's not proper, they're yours, they're for your enjoyment. So it just so happens everything is for Krishna's enjoyment, because everything belongs to Krishna. Even us, we belong to Krishna. We are property of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Be a little stamp on our rear end or something like that. Remember the G.I. Joes? When back in the 60s, a little stamp on their rear end, Hasbro. I always remember that. Made in China. Made in Hong Kong. They didn't say China. Made in Hong Kong. That's amazing. I always remember that. It's a little stamp. So we all have the stamp on us. Everything, on the soul, on the body. It all belongs to Krishna. Proper, just like here. Does it say there? Right? ISKCON, SanDiego. Ashram Library. Right? It's a property. There's a little sticker there. So whether you see the sticker or you don't, everything has a sticker on it. Property of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Property of the Supreme Personality. We have to see like that. Every single thing. And if we think, well, some of it's Krishna's property and some of it's my property. Krishna gave me this, it's mine. No. Not in the sense it becomes yours. You can use it, and it should be used in his service. If you use it for something else, then we become entangled. Then the problems begin like that. But Krishna allows us because we don't catch on so quick. We have a different idea. So Krishna says, oh, you think you can use this and be happy? Go ahead and try it. And we can't be happy. We can't be happy. Speaking of the 60s, remember that cartoon? I don't even know the name of it. But it was this turtle and a professor. And the turtle always got himself in trouble. And at the end of the cartoon, it'd be tweedledum, tweedledum, time for this one to come home. Now, he'd get himself in some, there's a wizard. There was a wizard like that. So, and this turtle was always trying to do something. He always did something stupid. And at the end of the cartoon was Tweedledee, Tweedledum, time for this one to come home. In other words, the wizard would bring him back out of it like that. So that's all of us. We're like that. So go ahead and try it. Go ahead and try it. Krishna says, go ahead and try it. But as soon as we understand and see that sticker and realize everything is a property of Krishna, every little thing should be used in Krishna's service, That's a symptom of the pure devotee. And that's what's being described here. And that's why it says that those on the highest level or full Krishna consciousness, they're really happy. They're so happy because they understand how everything fits into being in the service of the Supreme Lord. And unless we understand God's a person, or the absolute truth is a person, there's no service. It says there's three things. There's the devotee, there's the Supreme Lord, and there's devotional service. The impersonalist doesn't have that realization. Even the Paramatma, those who realize the Paramatma, they're appreciating the Paramatma, but they're not engaging in service. Only those who realize Bhagavan, they're rendering some service. And our process of devotional service, that's what the Panchatriki system of worshiping the deities is to train us, to revive that consciousness. Krishna's a person, let me use everything in the Lord's service and glorify the Lord. Like that. 826. And then the last thing we'll just touch on is this nice example, I've heard many times, about seeing something from a distance, whether the example is given here of a city or a hill or a train coming, right? And when it's far, far away, we don't really understand it fully, but as you get closer and closer and closer and closer, everything becomes very, very clear, and all the varieties become manifest, and there's actual enjoyment. Just like if you're thinking of going somewhere, where are you thinking of going? Well, even going to breakfast, right? But when you finally get there and see all the varieties of nice prasad, and you sit down and you take prasad, then you can enjoy it. But if you're at a distance, you're upstairs, you're down the street, or you're thinking breakfast, right? But when you actually come and you see all the varieties, so that's what's happening. As we progress in spiritual life, the varieties become manifest more and more and more and more. And the impersonalists think that as you become more and more advanced, all the variety disappears. So just see how we're in completely different directions. They don't understand the Brahman, just like this verse in Brahma Samhita. Bhinam, it's full of variety. Listened to a lecture recently. It's the Origins series by Sariputta. And he was saying, why is it that we default to the idea that spirituality has to be devoid of any variety? You know, it's an interesting psychological thing that we just, because in the material world there's variety, we're thinking, therefore, the obvious conclusion is spiritual life must be devoid of any variety. But it's a faulty conclusion. It's a faulty conclusion. No, spiritual life actually is full of even more variety, and much more enjoyable variety, which is eternal and tasty and enjoyable. But somehow or other, and actually the idea that it has no variety is a material concept, and Prabhu says right here, empiric knowledge. It's a mundane concept, it's not a spiritual concept. And that's why the impersonalists actually are on the mundane platform, the Mayavadis who think everything is Maya or illusion. Like that even Krishna and devotional service, we are just very, very neophyte on the platform of spirituality. And when we get through all of this, we realize that ultimately everything is just one. And it's beyond words, because there can't be no variety, because it has to be. How do you have the perceiver and the perceived? Right? What's the value of that whole realization if you're not there to realize it? Because there can't be the realized, there can't be the object and the perceiver. Doesn't exist. Right? Yeah. So there's some points here. And it's already 8:30. And Santosh is on fire this morning, so maybe breakfast would be at 9 o'clock or something, right? So, and the varieties are coming. By 9 o'clock they'll be manifest. Anyway, so if there are any questions or comments on this wonderful verse, Dhruva Maharaj's realization. You see, the devotee is not afraid of anything in the sense that he can offer respect because he sees everything in relationship to Krishna. He's not fearful. He sees everything as in relationship to Krishna. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur, He says in one of those verses, he said, when you go to another person's place of worship, you see how it's they're all offering respect to your Lord Krishna, but in a different way. He's not afraid of it, and just like I'm got asked to do a wedding. When is that? I don't know, May or June or something. And every once in a while I'm asked to do weddings where it's a Hindu and a Muslim. And sometimes you have Christian, Hindu, but the point being made is sometimes whether the bride or the groom's side, depending on how dear they hold their religious beliefs, sometimes there's tension there. In fact, I did a wedding this last year. The mother didn't come. The groom was Muslim, and his mother would not come to the wedding because he was marrying a Hindu. She would not attend. As far as she was concerned, it didn't happen. Infidel, So it can be very, very heated and heartfelt and difficult because fanatical, whatever you want to call it, or just mindset is there. They don't see their God. They don't see their God everywhere. Everyone's worshiping the Supreme Lord in a different way, and they don't see that. No, it's your God and my God, and they're two different things, completely different things, and the twain shall never meet. Just like that. There's sectarianism and fanaticism and all that. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, but when you go, a devotee goes to another place where he just sees they're worshiping Krishna, but they're doing it that way, and I offer all respects. They're worshiping the Lord in that particular. Even those who are worshiping the demigods. Like that. That's Krishna set that whole system up. Not that I worship the demigods for material prosperity, not that I try to merge into the Brahman, but you see all these things in their proper perspective. As all arrangements of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the devotee is not bewildered in all these situations. He's quite peaceful. Like that. So, any questions or comments? Microphone. And thank you for your encouraging words, Damodar, in the beginning. Maybe that's why the class was halfway decent, because Damodar said that. Thank you, I appreciate that. Your words in the beginning of the class. The benediction.
Before I went on the purport, you were saying, well, why would the mind do that? You touched on it because of the tininess of the brain, but because spiritual life has to be blissful and free of misery, and because all the variegatedness of life that we understand is full of misery, therefore to be without misery, it can't have any. That is an answer they would give for
it's like Buddhism.
Why.
In Buddhism, we're all suffering and because of our desires, so give up all your desires.
A couple of points. In essence, they're advanced, those who understand or realize Brahman. Sometimes we sadhaka bhaktas, think, impersonalists. There's a difference between the Mayavadis and impersonalists, but Vishwanath Chakravarti and Dhruv Maharaj are both giving respect. Anybody who can understand Brahman, my God, we should be so lucky. It's the first step in really entering into the house of Bhakti, the temple of Bhakti, understanding Brahman. So that's there. And then shortness of the time in the class, but in his breakdown of the analogies, in his breakdown of the Karmi, Jnana, Mishra, Bhakta, and then one is more advanced, he understands the Lord in his creative energies. So for the most part, you appropriately dwelt with the Lord in relationship to the creation and his property and this and that. The last part being that when one is even more advanced, then he realizes the Lord's transcendental pastimes. So that's the highest level of the devotees. That's because most religions at best try to worship God as the creator, maintainer, like that. And but Krishna consciousness is another step beyond, because it's understanding the Lord in his pastime.
So like if you know someone at work, that's one way. But actually to really know someone is at their home. So to know God and how He's creating this material world is like God at the office. But our real life is not work. It's at home. So it says Vishnu's God at the office and Krishna manifests Vishnu. He's at the office, but his real person is he's at home. He's playing. He says his pastimes. It's not the work of creation and destruction of the little tiny material world. He's just enjoying the pastimes. Balaram, you had something? I thought you were moving earlier. Yeah.
I was moving.
Okay.
I was just thinking about, you're talking about, I think you were mentioning this, idea of theoretical knowledge, realized knowledge, and, sometimes devotees say, Prabhupada says so many times, you're not the body, and in the lecture so many times, in the book so many times. And then, of course, devotees following Prabhupada, they say that you're not the body so many times. Boring. So, and I was thinking that, there's a reason why, because, you mentioned that point, we forget, And I just remembered right now that Tirthamaraj, he said one time, he said, you hear a Bhagavatam class, and, you're all inspired, and, I'm going to surrender to Krishna, and, really fired up. Give it some hours pass, and, you forget, you forget what you heard. Maybe. So in some cases. So, this idea that, people forget, they hear you're not the body, but they forget. And, the proof of that is that they fall, or you could say that they're already in the bodily concept of life, attached to the body and the mind and everything like that. So it was just a comment. And, like sectarian, like you were saying, all the Muslim, Hindu, and I just remember, I'm sure everybody heard, but Prabhupada, he was in Tehran, and there was some devotee of Trey Rishi there, and then, that Prabhupada was hearing the Muslims, they're chanting in the morning, or praying in the morning, and then I Trey Rishi said, Prabhupada, I read this in Hari Shari's book, and I Trey Rishi said, Prabhupada, it'd be really nice if these people chanted Hare Krishna, and this and that, and Prabhupada said, why are you trying to make me sectarian? It's in other words, he was appreciating their chanting of their prayers, the Muslims. So, anyways.
Okay. We can end here. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.